Hi folks, Debbie Ray here, the gardener wife, with an early fall tour of my kitchen garden. Now, the kitchen garden looks good from a distance because the marigolds are blooming and filling the paths. And it also looks good when I do close-ups of the vegetables and flowers to post. But as you're about to see, the truth is that it is quite overgrown. I have barely been keeping up with the harvest, so I am not keeping up at all with the weeding and the pruning and things. So the paths are taken over by things flopping in there. This is the raspberry bed. Over here are my fruits and edible flowers. Herbs and edible flowers, and I have not trimmed off the lemon balm and mint and everything that should be trimmed back. I need to come out here and pull out all these garlic chive blossoms before they go to seed everywhere. I've got 2 giant stalks of papalo here that I haven't even been using because I'm not convinced that I like the flavor. That and another Mexican herb, epazote, is in this herb garden for the first time this year. But I do have parsley. I'm going to make some chimichurri sauce and freeze that when I have a chance. The strawberry bed, as always, the strawberries are done, and I've let borage and calendula, edible flowers, grow in here, and have tried a few other odd things. The annual Lazy Susans there, doing nice. This was the broccoli bed, although the broccoli is mostly finished off some. I've got a little bit of side shoots I saw in the back. I interplanted with lots of other things, so there's still beets in here. And then along the edges is Swiss chard. You can see some. And then also I have leeks in here, some of which have already flowered. So again, I need to get busy and pull those all up. Also, my mammoth sunflowers are fading. Their flowers are gone, so I don't feel too bad that some of them have completely flopped over now. This one, and then I just saw this one this morning, which was the only one of these 3 tall ones that wasn't beheaded already. And so there it is. So some animals are enjoying the seeds there or not. And here in my cukes and bikes bed, the bikes are there. There are 2 small cucumber plants, and I haven't noticed anything forming on them recently. The bush cucumber that I have growing out in a container is still producing. And I've got calendula in here and nasturtiums. And of course marigolds around the edge of every one of these 6 rotating beds of annuals. So the next 2 beds are tomatoes mostly, and things in the tomato family, like ground cherries here, and tomatillo there at the back, and pepper plant. I think I already oh no, it's still here. There's a red pepper coming here, ready to harvest. And then also in between the tomato plants are celery plants. I've been harvesting them little by little here and there, but soon I need to just get them all up and chop and freeze what I can't use right away. So back to the tomatoes. I've got 2 of these Sweet 100s plants out here and 1 more in a container, so I'm finally getting plenty of my favorite summer candy. And I only grew 2 other large varieties out here besides 2 kinds of paste tomatoes. So over there is a Brandywine, which has got lots of green fruit on it. And then over here is a big rainbow, and I already noticed earlier today that a squirrel has left a message here telling me, hey, it's about time to harvest your big rainbows. I was thinking they'd turn more red, but at this point I need to pull them in and let them finish ripening inside before that animal comes back for more. I also have more of the paste tomatoes that are ready to harvest. I have San Martino growing in here and Amish paste tomatoes. All my other varieties of tomatoes are in containers this year. And that's why I was able to space these tomato plants further apart. As you can see, I have not kept up with pruning the diseased leaves and branches off. But I still have fruit coming, and the fruit looks good. And then finally the legumes beds. So this year, with my arbor gone after we put up the new fence, I left some of the morning glories, and then they just took over. These seeded themselves, and by the time I didn't keep up with pulling them out when they landed in the bed, and by the time I it was too late when I saw how much they were growing everywhere, because I could not pull them up without damaging the snow peas that were on these supports in back, and now the beans that are on them. But I had very little damage on the bean vines this year from Japanese beetles. I kept at them and patrolled, and after about 3 weeks, all activity was pretty much slowed down and ended. And so I'm still getting a good green bean harvest. Here it is. I've already harvested the beans today. This is the first time in several days, because we've had rain, and between my rain and my schedule, I haven't been able to get out here for several days. It was raining when I was off. So this is today's harvest of green beans. Like I said, I'm going to come back here and harvest the tomatoes. I'm going to collect as many edible flowers as I can too, because I'm going to make a dish for Garden Club's harvest night tonight. Always fun to decorate my dishes with edible flowers, as you know. Back here in this container, my first attempt at growing purple cauliflower has failed because of those white cabbage moths. They're cabbage loopers eating it away. I did do another round of sowing lettuce in here, so that's good. And we've restored the grow sign here to the new fence. And Mrs. Green Beans, her skirt grew and grew, and it became a shawl and a scarf around her. I can barely keep her face clear. And then the largest kale plants that you see here are ornamental kales that I put in the corners of the beds. I always do that, and then later plan to transplant them into fall containers. But some of them have already grown and gone to seed. Everything that's going to seed, I just left it. I might get some free kale, radishes, other things next year, next season. And then I've already harvested the garlic that was back here, and we'll be planting more. I'll clean up this herb bed and plant garlic again in early October. So that's the kitchen garden now. Oh, if you're wondering what these other red tall plants are, this is amaranth. I let it go so it seeds itself all over the garden, and then I'll leave somewhere I want them for a little vertical interest. Early season, they're very good. The leaves are like spinach, except they turn anything pink. And it's edible. Every part of this plant is edible. So it's fun to grow. Amaranth. Got a couple big ones back there. So that's it. That's the kitchen garden in early fall. Thanks for watching.